So, welcome on this lecture, and this lecture is regarding the central nervous system. Okay, so each and every point we will discuss in detail and in simple way. Okay, so you can see this figure reveals the central nervous system, and you can see there are lots of nerves has been spreading throughout the body. Okay, so it is the simple presentation, you can say representation in figure way, okay, of central nervous system. Okay, so you can see this one. Okay. So come on the second slide. You can see this one, nervous system. Okay, so this paragraph revealing that nervous system is the part of animal's body. Okay, kiska part hai ye? This is the part of animal bodies, okay, that coordinates its voluntary as well as involuntary actions. Okay, you can all of you know that there are two types of function: voluntary and involuntary actions. Okay, so these are coordinated. Okay, central nervous system is coordinated from voluntary as well as involuntary actions. Okay, and transmit signal between different parts of the body. Okay, what did it means? Transmit signal. Okay, ये signal को transmit करता है between different body parts. ठीक है, different body parts में. ठीक है, that's why some are voluntary while others involuntary actions. Okay, so if you know about the voluntary and involuntary actions, then if you are known from this, then you can see this, what is the voluntary actions, what is the involuntary actions. Okay, then nervous tissue first arose in worm like organism. Okay, nervous system first arose in worm like organism means it is splitting throughout the body, as you can see in the this one. Okay, so this figure reveals the worm lines representation throughout the body. Okay, so that's why these lines reveals this point. Okay, uh, nervous tissue first arose in worm-like organism about 550 to 60 million years ago. Okay, so means this lines has been defined before 550 to 600 million years ago, because representation is such like worms like. Okay, in most animals species, uh, actually, you can see these lines. Nervous tissue first erosion worm-like organism. This line actually indicates that before 550 to 600 million years ago, okay, this system first seen in the worm-like organism. Worm-like organism, you can see. It, okay, so worm-like organism, you can define it this way, that so worm-like organism means all of the helminthes shown this such types of tissue, nervous tissue, before 550 to 600 million years ago. In most animals, it consists of two main parts. So it indicates that two main parts originated from the nervous system. First one is central nervous system, and other is peripheral nervous system. Okay, means first is CNS, second one is PNS. Okay, CNS contains the brain and spinal cord. Okay, so this is the brain and this is the spinal cord. Okay, and from spinal cord there are other nervous tissue is spreading. Okay, so that's why it is called peripheral nervous system. Okay, central nervous system contains the brain and spinal cord. The PNS consists mainly the nerves, which are enclosed bundles of long fibers or axons. Okay, so PNS consists of mainly nerves, and which type, which are enclosed bundles of long fibers. Okay, are axons. So PNS is such bundles of long fibers. Okay, looking like bundles of long fibers, or you can say axons, that connects the CNS to every other parts of the body. Okay, so it is the simple definition. Okay, so I will repeat it. Nervous system is the part of animal body, all of you know, coordinates its voluntary and involuntary actions. Okay, transmit signal between different part of the body. Okay, क्या करता है, ट्रांसमिट करता है सिग्नल कि आपको हैंड उठाना है कि नहीं उठाना है. ठीक है, आपका हार्ट बीट वो तो करेगा ही करेगा, क्योंकि ये क्या है आपका इनवॉलेंटरी एक्शंस है, ठीक है। वॉलेंटरी जो हम चाहते हैं, इनवॉलेंटरी जो हमारे कंट्रोल में नहीं है, आपके सेंट्रल नर्वस सिस्टम के कंट्रोल में रहता है, ठीक है। नर्वस टिश्यू फर्स्ट कहाँ पे रोज इन वार्म लाइक ऑर्गेनिज्म लाइक सच एज फॉर एग्जांपल हेलमेंस, ओके, अबाउट 550 to 600 million years ago, okay. In most animals species it is consist of two main parts, the central nervous system and peripheral nervous system, okay. So this is, it is two types, central nervous system and peripheral nervous system, okay. CNS contains the brain and spinal cord, ठीक है। तो आपका CNS हो गया, PNS हो गया, सेंट्रल नर्वस सिस्टम CNS, it contains the brain spinal cord, PNS contain nerves which are enclosed bundles of long fiber, okay। तो किस तरह का दिखेंगे, bundles of long fibers are axons that connect to CNS to other parts of the body, okay। तो CNS से कनेक्ट होगा क्या, PNS, and spreading throughout the body, okay। So it is the figure, and it is I think it is the representation. Then this is the brain, this is the spinal cord, this is the branchial plexus, this is the musculocutaneous nerves, this is the radial nerves, median nerves, okay. So there are lots of nerves, you can see here, you can see this one, okay. So next slide indicates that the nervous system, okay, so it is divided the central nervous system in CNS, which is the brain and spinal cord. So you can see this is the brain, this is the spinal cord, okay. And the peripheral nervous system which connects the everything to the brain and spinal cord, okay. So peripheral क्या करता है, connects the brain and spinal cords, okay. So it is a simple representation and it is divided into two parts, you can see this one. So central nervous system, CNS is the brain and spinal cord, first of all necessary for maintenance of homeostasis, okay। किसके लिए, homeostasis के maintenance के लिए, ठीक है, homeostasis के maintenance के लिए, ठीक है। contains 10 to 10 की पावर 11 न्यूरॉन्स, कितना है न्यूरॉन्स, 10 की पावर 11, ओके। contains 10 की पावर 14 सिनेप्सेस, ठीक है, सिनेप्सेस कितना है 10 की पावर 14। I will discuss the what is the synapses, what is the neurons like that, okay। responsible for everything we perceive, do, feel and think, ठीक है। किसके लिए रेस्पॉन्सिबल है, परसेप्शन के लिए, ठीक है। जैसे हम कुछ काम करते हैं, हम कुछ फील करते हैं, हम कुछ सोचते हैं, तो उसके लिए क्या है आपका नर्वस सिस्टम रिस्पॉन्सिबल है, सेंट्रल नर्वस सिस्टम, ओके। नेक्स्ट अगर हम बात करते हैं पार्ट्स ऑफ सीएनएस, तो स्पाइनल कॉर्ड एंड ब्रेन। तो ब्रेन क्या है, ब्रेन अगर हम बात करते हैं तो ब्रेन इज द कंट्रोल सेंटर ऑफ द बॉडी, ठीक है। ब्रेन क्या है, कंट्रोल सेंटर ऑफ द बॉडी, इट इज अबाउट 2% ऑफ योर बॉडी वेट एंड यूजेस 20% ऑफ योर बॉडी ऑक्सीजन, ओके। कितना बॉडी का बॉडी ऑक्सीजन यूज करता है, 20%, ठीक है। इट इज अबाउट 2% ऑफ योर बॉडी, ठीक है। आपके बॉडी का कितना है 2%, ठीक है। द ब्रेन इज द कंट्रोल सेंटर ऑफ द बॉडी, ठीक है। ये क्या है, कंट्रोल सेंटर ऑफ बॉडी का कंट्रोल सेंटर है। अगर हम ब्रेन के पार्ट्स की बात करते हैं तो दिस इज द फ्रंटल रीजन, ओके, दिस इज द फ्रंटल लोब, दिस इज द सेरेब्रम, ओके। and this is the in the back side, you can say mid position, this is the parietal lobe, and below this one is the occipital lobe, okay, and in bottom it is the cerebellum, okay. And this center point pons is originated and brainstem it is the below, and temporal lobe is the below the frontal lobe, okay. So it is the simple representation of brain parts, okay. Parts of the brain divided into three parts: cerebrum, cerebellum, as well as brainstem. Okay. This is the frontal lobe. Frontal lobe is further divided into frontal association area, motor cortex species. Okay. And parietal lobe is sensory cortex, speech taste, sensory association areas, reading. Okay. And visual, this is the below visual association area, and vision is the part of occipital lobe. Okay. Temporal lobe is the in between position responsible for smelling, hearing, and auditory association areas. Cerebrum, if you talk about the cerebrum, this is the largest part of the brain, and learning and senses is associated from this part. Okay. Second hemisphere, right and left. Right and left, two hemisphere means it is divided. One hemisphere is the right position, while other in the left position. Okay. Connected by corpus callosum, okay. So this cerebrum is connected by corpus callosum, okay. Right side controls left side controls right side of the body, okay. So it is very important point. Four sections means four lobes appeared in this: frontal, parietal, occipital, as well as temporal lobe, okay. So it is the part of cerebrum. So if you talk about the functional areas of cerebrum, then it is the frontal, it is the prefrontal association areas, ideas and plans for voluntary movement and thoughts of personality associated from this part, means prefrontal parts. Okay. Bronchi areas is associated with speech formation. Okay. So speech formation involved in the bronchi areas. Okay, it is very important point. It's the very small region from this. Okay. Olfactory cortex is associated with smell. Okay. And limbic association cortex is related to the emotions, learning and memory. Okay. Primary auditory cortex is related to the hearing. Auditory association areas, this is the auditory, means it is related to hearing. Okay. Next one is, if you talk about the Wernicke areas, it is the language comprehensions, having language comprehensions abilities. Primary visual cortex, this is the part which is responsible for vision. Visual association areas is related to higher vision processing. Sensory association areas is related to integration of sensory information. Primary somatic sensory cortex is related to some somesthetic sensation and proprioceptions. This is the central sulcus. Okay. So these part is each part is mentioned and their function is also described here. Okay, so you can see this one. Cerebellum, what is the cerebellum? Cerebellum is the second largest part of the brain. Okay, located below the cerebrum. Okay, at the back skull, at the back of skull. This part is responsible for balance and muscle coordination. Okay, what is the function of this? Balance and muscle coordination. So it is very important point. You should be know about that. Okay, it is the second largest part located below the cerebrum at the back skull. This part is responsible for balancing muscle coordination. Okay. Other structure inside the brain. So if other structure inside the brain, if you talk about the other parts of the brain, then thalamus, okay, receives messages from sensory receptors, relays information to proper region of cerebrum. Hypothalamus is the part which is responsible for regulates hunger, thirst, fatigue, anger, and control of pituitary for endocrine function. So this is the thalamus, okay, and this is the hypothalamus. So you should be know about their functions. If you talk about spinal cord is associated from the brain. So link between brain and rest of the body means PNS, 31 pairs of spinal nerves. Okay, so it is related to the 31 pairs of spinal nerves. Reflexes proceeds directly by spinal cord. Reflex, quick, automatic, unconscious response is okay. So it is the reflex. Okay, result of reflex are shortest nerve pathways. So this is the part of spinal cord. So you can see this one, the figure, and their cervical, cerebrum, cerebellum, brainstem, and spinal cord. It is divided to cervical nerves, thoracic nerves, lumbar nerves, and sacral nerves, as is procalgeal nerves. Okay, femoral nerves is also originated from this spinal cord, and sciatic nerves. Okay, so sciatic and femoral is the branches of spinal cord. You can see this one. Okay. Next, if talk about the spinal cord and spinal nerves. Okay, so spinal cord and spinal nerves is further divided into gray matter functional halves related to the dorsal sensory functions as well as ventral responsible for motor functions. Spinal nerves are mixed. Okay, so white matter forms tract, which may be ascending and descending. Okay, dorsal which can be ascending and descending, not maybe. Okay. So spinal cord tracts, if you see the spinal cord, and this is the one spinal cord, means one parts has been selected from that, and it is mid position dorsal, it's called dorsal columns, lateral spinothalamic tract, spinotactal tract, and anterior spinothalamic tract. So this is the subparts of this spinal cord. Ascending tract, it is divided into dorsal column, lateral spinothalamic tract, spinotactal tract, anterior spinothalamic tract. Okay, ventral. So if you see the descending tract, this is the lateral pyramidal tract, and vestibulospinal tract and anterior pyramidal tract. Okay, so it is the part of descending tract. So you should be know about the what is ascending, what is the descending, means you should be know about the parts. Okay, so spinal cord is the ascending tract, and you can see this is the thalamus, and thalamus is attached from the thalamus is attached from the somato sensory areas of the cerebral cortex. Okay, and it is further, it is if you see the below parts, dorsal column nuclei and medulla oblongata. Okay, and below you can see this cassation of medial lemniscus and lateral spinothalamic tract. Okay, and if you see the below dorsal columns and below spinal cord is present, and this medulla oblongata is further if you see this one, this nerve is related to the touch receptors as well as pain receptors. Okay, pain receptor is the part of somato is regulated by somatosensory areas of the cerebral cortex. Okay, and touch receptors, you can see the below touch receptor is related to the connected to the brain. Pain receptor is connected to the spinal cord. Okay, so it is the very important parts and it is regulated from each other. Okay, you can see this one. This is the motor area of cerebral cortex. This is the thalamus and medulla oblongata, and two pyramids are present here, anterior pyramidal tract, then spinal cord comes, and skeletal muscles is associated from spinal cord. You can see this one, and lateral pyramidal tract is also associated from spinal cord. Okay, so from spinal cord, nerves is spreading and it is related to different receptors by which your central nervous system feels this. Okay, this activity. Okay, so below you can see also structures. So sensory receptors in skin sensory receptors are present. So this is the upper spinal cord, and this is the gray matter, and this is the dorsal horn, axons, terminal, dorsal root cell bodies, dorsal root ganglion, and afferent axons. Spinal nerves, efferent axons, cell bodies, ventral root, central canal, white matter, ventral horn. So this is the parts of the your spinal cords. Okay, so this is the cross section actually, and you should be know about the parts. And these spinal cord is connected to the nerves, which is also connected from the different sense receptors. Okay, so okay, and these nerves also having the axon terminals. Okay, so these are connected from the muscle. Okay, effector muscles. So by which, since it is connected from this one, so some are voluntary actions, some are involuntary actions. Okay, so if anyone, if a needle is injected in your skin, then your sensory receptor will send your message to the spinal cord, and spinal cord send to the message to the brain, by which you can feel that pain. Okay, so like that. So physical CNS physical support, it is talking about the physical support. So skull is the cranium. Skull is also known as cranium, and below is, you can see dura matter, arachnoid matter, and pia matter. Three types of matter is present: dura, arachnoid, as well as pia matter. It is the part of cranial meninges. Okay, below you can see dura matter, arachnoid matter, and pia matter. It is associated with the spinal meninges, and below you can see vertebra and spinal cord. So these one different regions have different functions. Corpus callosum connects the brain right and left hemisphere. Brain stem is connect from the regulates heart rate, breathing, sleep cycles, and emotions. Okay. Cerebral cortex is related to the functions include planning, reasoning, language, recognizing sound and images and memory. While cerebrum importance for coordination, precision, timing, and moments. So these are the different parts of the brain, and each part is associated from different functions. Okay, specific functions. So you can see the cells of the nervous system are called neurons. So it's the structure of neurons, and it's further divided into, it is the your cell bodies. Okay, in the central part, nucleus is present, and it is the dendrites from terminal from your ascending parts. And if you see the descending part, then it is the myelin sheath, and this is the axons, and this is the myelin is covered by myelin sheath. This is the nerve endings. Okay, and this is the structure of neurons. Okay, so it is the your neurons structure. So you can see these are some types of neurons. There are three types of, actually three different types of neurons are present inside your body. So this is the, you can see this is the cell body. Okay, cell bodies, this is the myelin sheath, this is the muscles, and this is the nerve endings. Okay, so motor neurons send signal to your muscles to tell them to move. Okay, so for movement of muscles, which type of neurons are responsible? Motor neurons. Okay, it sends signal to your muscle to tell them to move. Okay, then sensory neurons send signals from your sense organs. Okay, so sensory neurons send signal from your sense organs, and okay, so this is the sense organs. Okay, so sense organs, there is no cell bodies are present. Okay, so cell bodies is present in between two in between the nerve, in between this structure, you can see the, okay, so this is the dendrites, and this is the cell bodies, and this is the nerve endings. Okay, so relay neurons connects neurons to other neurons. Directions of electrical signals is like that. Okay, so these are the three different types of neurons and responsible for motor neurons. It is actually motor neurons, sensory neurons, and relay neurons, and each neurons is associated with the special functions. Okay, sends to the signals to your sense organ, like that. Sends to your muscles, send signals to your muscle to tell them to move, like that. Okay, so if you see, the neurons communicate with each other using a mixture of electrical or chemical signals. So communication is related to the electrical as well as chemical signals. Okay, so you can see, but what happens when the signals reaches to the end of the axons? So you can see, this is the nucleus, this is the cell body, this is the dendrite, this is the nerve index, this is the myelin sheath, this is the axons. An electrical signal is transmitted along the axons. Okay, so electrical signal is transmitted along the axons. So this electrical signals is looking like that, sends to your term. This is the nerve endings. Okay, so by his signals is sent. Okay, so signals cross between neurons at the synapse. So these signals, this the connection point, it is called synapse. Okay, it is very important parts. This is the vesicle, this is the neurotransmitters, and this is the synaptic cleft, this is the receptor. So this is the vesicles, and this is the neurotransmitter, and this is the receptor. Okay, so near these vesicles containing the neurotransmitter, and it is connected from this one by which response is created. So electrical impulse triggers vesicles to move the synaptic membrane. Okay, impulse triggers vesicle to move the synapse membrane. Okay, signals cross between neurons at the synapses. Okay, vesicles fuse with the membrane and release neurotransmitter into synaptic cleft. So this is the vesicle, this is the neurotransmitter, and this is speed and attaches from the diffuses. You can see neurotransmitter diffuses across the clefts and bind to receptor on the other side. Okay, so this looks like it binds from the receptor. Okay, this is the synaptic cleft, and this is the vesicle, this is the neurotransmitter, and this pouches has been burst from this side, releases neurotransmitter, connects from receptor, and that's why once enough receptors have neurotransmitters bound to them, then signal is transmitted looking like that. Okay, so this is the neurotransmitter junction, NMJ. Okay, so signals sent from your central nervous system to NMU, means neuromuscular junction tells muscle to move. Okay, so it informs that your muscle for moving your muscles. Okay, synapse at the A and B use the neurotransmitter called acetylcholine. So these neurotransmitter is called acetylcholine. Okay, this is the muscle, this is the connected point. So thank you. Okay, so looking like that, your central nervous system act. Okay, so it is very important part of your syllabus. Like if you are students of biochemistry or biotechnology, or you can pharmacy or other some life sciences courses, as well as some chemistry syllabus. Okay, so you can see this one. Okay. So thanks for watching this video, and if you are new on this channel, please like and subscribe this channel. Okay, so thanks for this.